Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how are you doing? As you guys know, Toy Story 4 came out about a week ago now, and I'm a massive Toy Story fan. Toy Story 1 is my all-time favourite film. So even though I was happy with the completion of the Toy Story series back when Toy Story 3 came out, I love the Toy Story characters so much that when it was announced that Toy Story 4 was coming out, I was genuinely very excited. Like, I was just a little bit worried that they wouldn't live up to my expectations. Like, I knew that I was going to enjoy seeing Buzz and Woody and everyone else on my screens again, you know, getting up to new adventures. I was just a little bit hesitant that the adventures that they would get up to would detract from what happened in Toy Story 3 and would just be a little bit unnecessary, if that makes sense. Today I want to talk about my thoughts on Toy Story 4 because, like I said, I went to see it on the very first day that it came out, 21st of June 2019, and then I went back a few days later, and I'm seeing it again tomorrow actually for the third time. I think this gives you an idea of how much I actually love the film, but I just wanted to discuss the film, see what you thought of it, tell you some of my favorite parts of it. I'm not going to spoil it, so if you haven't seen Toy Story 4, don't worry, there's not going to be any full-on spoilers in this, but I just want to talk about it, you know, because it's such a great film in my opinion, and I'm just all the emotions, okay? Originally I was planning on doing this video the day after I saw the film, so Saturday the 22nd was when I was going to film this video, but I was busy and then things got in the way, and then I got to see the film again, so I was like, maybe I'll actually wait and see how I feel after a few days of having seen the film twice, and now I feel like I'm in the perfect mind frame to talk about it. As you can see, we've got Woody here chilling with us. I'm wearing my new Woody Spirit jersey, which I never thought I'd get because Spirit jerseys just aren't my thing. I feel like maybe they're becoming my thing now, who knew? Okay, so Toy Story 4, like I said, without giving any major spoilers, is mainly the adventures of Woody and Bo Peep, and like I said, these aren't spoilers because you can kind of tell that by just watching the trailers. I was very excited to see what Bo Peep's journey was going to be before I saw the film. Bo Peep's never been one of my favorite characters because she doesn't really do much. Like in Toy Story 1 and 2, she's very like minimal. She's just like a little love interest. Like, she's very cute, but she's never a standout. She's never been a standout character to me anyway, so I was excited to see what they were going to do with her. She looked really badass in the trailers, and that's exactly what she's like in the film as well, even more badass, which is great. I actually met Bo Peep the day before I saw Toy Story 4, so I was in Disneyland Paris. You can see the vlog of that. It was Toy Story Play Days. I met Bo Peep and Woody together, and it was really, it was kind of interesting because when I met Bo Peep, I was like, I don't really know what to say to you. I'm just excited to find out about your journey, but I kind of wish I could meet Bo Peep again now because I would just go up to her and be like, well done, darling. Right, so as well as Bo Peep and Woody, we have a couple of new characters in Toy Story 4, one of them being Forky, and Forky's been like the front runner of Toy Story 4 since the very first trailers came out. He's been the one that Disney and Pixar have kind of pushed to advertise Toy Story 4, so I was very intrigued about him. I wasn't sure what to think about him. He just looked interesting. Like, he was just a spork with a mouth, and I was like, wow, this is very different. Like, it's so simple. What could they possibly be doing with this character? And Lord have legit mercy, guys, he is one of my favorite characters in any Disney film of all time. He is just so funny. He's so relatable. Like, he is just basically everything that I feel. He's so funny. Toy Story 4 in general, I just have to say, is such a funny film. I would say, quite confidently, for me anyway, it's the funniest Pixar film that I've ever seen. I'm a tough audience. When it comes to like comedy, I don't laugh very easily. Same goes with theaters and films. It takes a lot for me to actually laugh at something like proper laugh. And Toy Story 4, especially like the first, I want to say 20 minutes of when we first meet Forky, it was like a laugh out loud moment for me. I was full on like literally genuine laughter, and everybody else was as well. The first time that I saw Toy Story 4 in the cinema, it was on the 21st of June, obviously. It was Friday night, and most of the people in the cinema were adults. Actually, there might have been maybe like 2 or 3 children, but the majority of the cinema were adults, and everybody else was laughing as well, which was so great. My mum was there, my dad was there, my brother was there with his girlfriend, my friend Rebecca was there. We were all laughing. Oh, it is so great. The character of Forky is just great. Like, the thing is, they could do so much with him because he was new, because he was made. And again, if you don't know, he's made by Bonnie. This isn't a spoiler either. You would have known this if you'd seen the trailers. I mean, even if you didn't see the trailers, you'd probably be able to guess, like, it's a spork basically, so it's not a real toy, it's a made toy. And he has some great lines. And Woody, bless this guy here, I mean, you guys know Woody's my favorite character of all time, but Woody's interactions with Forky were just insane. Like, comedy gold. Comedy gold. There are a few other characters that we meet in Toy Story 4 as well, like, what are they called? Ducky and Bunny, I think. I wasn't too sure about them at first, but they also end up being incredibly hilarious as the film goes on. They've got some very dark comedy with them, actually. Really, really clever. Duke Kaboom as well was a new character, voiced by Keanu Reeves. He wasn't my favorite character in Toy Story 4, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy Keanu Reeves, I think he's great, and I'm really glad that he's now a part of Toy Story, but his character wasn't the funniest or the greatest in my opinion. I still liked him, but Forky's like at the top. Then we've got Bunny and what's his name, Ducky, and then at the bottom I've got Kaboom, in terms of the new characters that were introduced in this new film. Actually, there is another new character as well, and that is Gabby. I'm laughing because she's called Gabby, but she's also known as Gabby Gabby, and she's such an interesting character. Like, she for me was, I don't want to spoil it. I wish I could, but I don't want this video to be a spoiler-free video. I want anyone to be able to enjoy this video, even if you haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. But yeah, Gabby Gabby. If you've seen the film, you know what I mean. But she made my head just think so many things about her. And I think she's a fantastic character, and Pixar, like, well done to them for again bringing a character like this into the franchise and making her so fascinating, having her have so many layers. And the whole name, like, I put an Instagram story on my Instagram. If you're not following my Instagram, you should, Sam for God. But I put an Instagram story and asked you guys about how you feel about some characters, just in general in films and stuff, having the same name twice. For instance, obviously I'm called Sam, and some people call me Sammy. I don't really like it. But imagine if my name was called Sammy and then somebody called me Sammy. That would automatically make me, I don't know, sound a little bit suspicious. I feel like having someone's name twice, especially if it's a double syllable name, is a way to make you a little bit aware of that character. So Gabby Gabby from the start made me a little bit aware of her, because I was like, why is she called Gabby Gabby? There are some characters with Gabby Gabby as well, and they're also, I'm not gonna lie, they're terrifying. They're absolutely terrifying. At one point in the cinema, in fact, I saw the film obviously twice. I've seen it twice so far, and both times my mom was with me, and both times my mom full on jumped because of the characters that were with Gabby Gabby. I can't remember their names, but there are quite a few characters. They all kind of look the same. They are creepy as hell, but in a good way. I think, like, they add to the story. Okay, I feel like we've talked about most of the new characters, apart from obviously Bo Peep, who's not a new character, but she is, like I said, a main part of, actually no, there's one more new character I need to talk about, and that's Mrs. Giggles or something. I can't remember. She's got a long name, but it's a Polly Pocket type of character toy who's now friends with Bo Peep, and she was hilarious. I really enjoyed her. See, I think I still enjoyed her more even than Kaboom, and she's less of a part really in the story than Kaboom is. Anyway, let's talk about Bo Peep now. So like I said, Bo Peep, from what we knew of her before Toy Story 4, we didn't really know much of her. We just knew that she enjoyed Woody, she seemed like a nice person, and that's it. Well, let me tell you guys, in Toy Story 4, Bo Peep is like the symbol of feminism, the symbol of freedom, the symbol of choosing your own path. She teaches Woody new things. Like this guy here, you know how stubborn he can be and he always wants his own way, but Bo Peep, she knows how to make this guy think and see different things, sides to things, and I don't know, the whole journey that Bo Peep and Woody go on in this film, for me, it was just a lot. It was emotional. I loved it. Like, I loved Bo Peep for what she was standing for everything that she was doing. I felt happy. I felt content for what she said she'd been doing for the past few years, because basically Toy Story 4, if you didn't know, starts off from when Andy was still the owner of all these toys, like back in the days before Bonnie's time, and then in the beginning, basically the credits, which was so emotional, so well edited. Like, honestly, the editors of Toy Story 4 should be so proud of themselves, because literally, like, the starting credits, like the intro itself, made me cry, genuinely made me cry, because it's so well edited, it's so emotional. It literally goes through a time frame of like when Andy's a child, and then he grows up and gives the toys to Bonnie, and you see all of that literally in the intro with You've Got a Friend in Me being sung as well by Randy Newman. But yeah, it was really nice to see what Bo Peep had done in the past, I don't know, 7 years or so, that we didn't really know where she was, and the toys didn't know where she was because she wasn't with them. She didn't get given to Bonnie. She was basically a lost toy because she wasn't in Toy Story 3. Bo Peep is not in Toy Story 3, and it's funny because I never really, maybe when I first saw Toy Story 3 in the cinema, I might have been like, oh, Bo Peep's not in it, but it was never something that I don't know, actively thought about, especially because it had been quite a while since I saw Toy Story 3. I just didn't really think, oh yeah, she's not in it. But yeah, I was proud of what Bo Peep had done in her time on her own. Strong independent woman she is, or strong independent shepherdess. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Bo Peep's journey, her character, and also after seeing Toy Story 4, I understand why they made it. I feel like they definitely made it because it was needed. Like at first, you know, like I said before the film came out, I had all these doubts about, you know, I don't know if it's going to be necessary. Of course, I'd be happy to watch Woody and Buzz and his friends go on an adventure again, but is it going to actually, you know, lead to something important that we need to know, or would it have just been best to close the door after Toy Story 3? I trust Pixar. Pixar's my favorite company of all time, and I'm glad I trust them. I'm glad I love them because they know what they're doing, and and Toy Story 4 was very much needed. I feel like it might actually be my second favorite Toy Story of all time, because number 1 will always be my favorite, but Toy Story 4 legit just made me feel so many emotions. I feel like genuinely Toy Story 4 is mainly made for adults. Of course kids are gonna still enjoy it because, you know, there's action, there's toys, there's colors and playgrounds and fun stuff, but really it's the adults who grew up with Toy Story who are gonna get the full message and fully be invested in it and see exactly what this film is trying to do. And not just trying to do, because it full on achieves doing what it wanted to do. So even though at the end of Toy Story 4 I full on cried, it was a bit of a surprise to me what happened. Like I said, I'm not gonna give anything away, but I cried a lot. And it's really funny because the first time I saw this in the cinema, like I said, it was a big group of us. So it was my mum, me, my dad, my brother, and then his girlfriend was on his other side, and my friend Rebecca was in front of us. And my brother and I basically grew up on Toy Story. Toy Story 1 came out in 1995 and I would have been 5 years old at the time. My brother was like 3 years old. We both watched it so many times when we were children, and we watched it when we got kind of older as well. Up until I was like, I don't know, I want to say 10 or 11 years old, Toy Story was a cartoon that would always be like watched in our household. And even now as an adult, like, it's the film that I always go to if I need cheering up, if I just need to be distracted for a bit, I go to Toy Story, which is why it's my favorite film of all time. So these characters, Buzz and Woody, have been a part of my brother and I's lives for, I don't know, over like 2 decades. And so basically at the end of Toy Story 4, when things got a bit emotional and I was literally crying, I felt really embarrassed because I was sat next to my dad, and my dad was enjoying the film, but he's not very much, like, he doesn't really cry at films. He's not that emotional, especially not at like an animation. So I was like full on crying, but trying to keep it low key because I didn't want him to like see it. I was full on crying, like my face was wet, and then he just looked at me and he was like, I was like, yeah, I'm just let me be. And then I remember I looked past my dad, obviously my brother was sat next to him on the other side, and I saw that my brother was full on crying as well, and it was such a great moment for me. I don't know how to explain it. It was just like a unifying situation where me and my brother full on get it. Like I was like, yes, my brother gets it, he's also crying. And his girlfriend on the other side of him wasn't crying at all, because his girlfriend hadn't seen any of the Toy Stories previously. She's not a big Disney or Pixar fan, so for her Toy Story 4 was the first Toy Story that she was really seeing. So again, it was like she didn't have any connection to these characters, but my brother and I, because we'd grown up with them, whew, it was just it was a special moment. I cried again the second time that I saw the film as well in the cinema. I'm probably gonna cry tomorrow when I see it, even though now I know what's gonna happen. It's because it's just so well done. Pixar's like anime, and that's another thing we need to talk about, the animation skills in this film. If you compare Toy Story 4 to Toy Story 1 and just the visuals of it, like, it is just insane how much Pixar and digital animation has progressed in the past 20 years. There's a cat in Toy Story 4 that literally looks like a cat. If you just shown me that shot of the cat without like the toys around it, I would have thought it's a real cat. And if you compare that to Sid's dog from Toy Story 1, it's such a different thing. Like Sid's dog, you can straight away tell it's not real. And I just think I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in the next 20 years and how much even better it's gonna get. I'm so like, it makes my heart happy that there are such amazing, creative, talented people out there that make such great entertaining things in the world and create these amazing things. And I'm just, yeah. Some people have complained that the other toys aren't in it as much as maybe they would have liked to. So obviously we see a lot of Woody in this film because it's mainly his adventure and Bo's adventure, but people like Buzz and Jessie and Rex and etc., they're not in it too much. Like, they're still in it. I didn't have a problem actually, I personally didn't have a problem at all with how little they were in it, but some people have said that they would have preferred them to be in it more. But in my opinion, those are the people who just probably wanted a random Toy Story film just for the laws of it with a random adventure. They didn't need to be in it. That's why they weren't in it. The story was focused on Bo and Woody and their adventure, and I think it was needed, the story, and I think Pixar made the right decision to do it the way they did it. So I didn't have a problem at all. And like I said, the other characters are still in it. Like Buzz he's in it quite a bit. He's not obviously in it as much as Woody is, but he's in it quite a bit, and he has some funny lines really funny lines actually. Woody talks about his inner voice, and then Buzz gets the wrong idea from that. Another one of my favorite lines from Toy Story 4 is something that Rex says. I actually can't remember at what time this comes, but at one point in the film Rex says, "The panic is attacking me." Oh my god, both times that we saw the film, my mum and I full on lolled at that comment. It's just such a great line, "The panic is attacking me." And my mum always like says that she's a bit of Rex, like she connects with Rex, so that's why it was really funny to us. There's a lot of like adult jokes as well that kids won't understand, but as adults you'd find them hilarious, which is why I think that the film is genuinely mainly made for adults, obviously, and kids, but it's a film that adults will appreciate more than kids. But that's what Toy Story's always been been about. That's what Pixar's always been about, but especially Toy Story. Like in Toy Story 1, one of my favourite lines of all time is what Mr. Potato Head says about the Picasso line, where all his pieces are in different places. Like I think his like eyes in the mouth part and his mouth somewhere else, and Rex comes past, and or I think it might be Ham comes past, and basically Mr. Potato Head's like, look Ham, I'm Picasso, and then Ham's like, I don't get it, and Mr. Potato Head's like, you uncultured swine. I think that's just so brilliant, and obviously kids probably wouldn't get that. They probably wouldn't know who Picasso is. I mean, some people do, some kids might, but it's not like something that kids would really get. I never got it when I was younger. It's one of the kind of quirks about Toy Story 1 that I've learned to love and appreciate as I've gotten older. Same with like how in Toy Story 1 again, when Buzz first arrives, Woody's very annoyed that Buzz doesn't understand that he's a toy, and I think Buzz first says something like, oh, the word you're thinking is like a planet or space or something, and then Woody's like, well, the word I'm thinking I can't say in front of all these preschool toys around me, or something like that. And obviously as adults we know why, whereas children, like when I was a child, I didn't understand any of that. There's a similar line to that in Toy Story 4 related to Bonnie's parents. So Bonnie's dad gets really angry, and Bonnie's mom says something to Bonnie about how, oh, Dad's just gonna go and use some words for a second, which again we know what he's gonna be doing and what he's doing, like what he's actually doing and saying. But I just think it's funny. Then there are loads of moments like that throughout Toy Story 4. There are loads of Easter eggs as well, which is one of my favorite things about Pixar, so look out for them. I've spotted maybe about 5 or 6 of them, but there's probably going to be so many more. The grape soda thing from Up, for instance, is very visible in one of the scenes in Toy Story 4. The Pizza Planet logo is somewhere, is basically used as a tattoo. It's very clever. It's as a tattoo on one of the characters. There's just loads of cool stuff to look out for, so if you go into Toy Story 4, make sure to full on pay attention, because you'll probably see some cool things that you would be missing if you didn't fully pay attention. And I think that's it really. I think the theme of Toy Story 4 is very much an adult theme. It's very much about having an existential crisis, trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, trying to find out your purpose basically. And I think it's such a great theme, and it's something that would relate to basically any adult, to be honest. Woody's in a bit of a dilemma. He doesn't know what to do, you know. He's with Bonnie, he still misses Andy, obviously, we all knew he would, but it's about it's taking control of your own destiny in a way. It's kind of like what Merida did, you know, another Pixar character. It's accepting when things have changed and realizing that it might be time to move on, and that can be so hard and so relatable. I think everyone has gone through something like that. Like, it's something that I've been going through for the past few months actually. I don't know, I've had a tough time. I had a tough time at the beginning of the year. I'm feeling much better, so thank you if you watched my video from a few months ago when I filmed in Disney World talking about how I've not been feeling myself. I've been feeling quite sad. I'm feeling better now. Like, I'm still not fully there, but part of why I was feeling that way was because of changes and me trying to figure out what I need to do, and do I need to hold on to things even though they're not necessarily good for me anymore, and that it's my time to maybe move on, or do I need to just find something new? And these are things, these are problems that everyone faces all the time, and I truly think that's why Toy Story 4 resonates with so many people, and so many adults have said that they loved it. Like, so far everyone I've talked to has come out saying they loved it. So yeah, my mum and dad loved it as well. I mean, it's just so universal, the theme. It really is, and that's why it's sad. That's why my heart broke. That's why I cried. That's why I think it's an important film. That's why I love the character of Forky, because Forky as well, like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but his character is so much about, like, I don't know, like I'm just not going to say anything, but his character is very much a part of this as well, and that's why I admire Bo Peep, because she inspired me in this film. And yeah, I don't really know what else. I feel like I'm just rambling, guys. Sorry about the noise outside. I'm filming this at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday in London, but clearly there's cars outside and it's hot. It's been hot in London, so I've had to have the windows open, otherwise I would be dead right now. So I hope you don't mind the noise, but I think that's going to be it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Leave comments down below, let me know what you thought of Toy Story 4 if you've seen it. If you didn't like it, I'd be really interested to know why, because like I said, most people that I know who've seen it have said that they really liked it, and I loved it, like genuinely loved it. But I'm sure there are some people who might not be the biggest fans of Toy Story 4. Like I said already, I know some people don't like the fact that there weren't too much of the other characters in it, like it was mainly focused on Woody and Bo Peep. But apart from that, do you have any other reasons as to why I didn't like Toy Story 4 much? Because I genuinely cannot fault it. I feel like it flowed very well. It wasn't boring. Everything was perfect. It was just, for me, it was a perfect film. It was the perfect film. But yes, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to follow me on Instagram, go ahead and do it. You'll see loads of posts from me, Disney posts, Pixar posts, theatre posts, a lot. You can follow me on Twitter or like me on Facebook. I'm always around, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye.